You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and man, we have another amazing show lineup for y'all. We're going to talk to someone who's all about health and mindset. So if you're ready to master your mind and master your body, you want to listen to today's show with our guest, Lauren Nicole. She has an amazing website with all information at laurennicole.life. So first and foremost, Lauren, thank you for taking time in your busy schedule. Man, how are you doing today?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. I'm located in sunny Florida, so it's about 85 degrees. Not such a bad winter, you know?
I'm a little jealous, man, because that's some good weather right there, man. But speaking of good weather, we all experience storms in our life and dark clouds, but the sun does come back out. Kind of give us a little backstory of what inspired you to launch your own brand, your own business.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to, share the story. Everyone has their own story. It shapes who we are and what we do. And I'll start kind of at the beginning. So, as a child, I grew up in a household, divorced parents. I have someone very near and dear, a sibling of mine, who was diagnosed bipolar. And when he was really young, he was misdiagnosed, had suicidal attempts. I grew up pretty quick, because I acted as another parent. But at the same time, I was navigating his challenges, my own challenges, kind of, I say, growing up before my years. So I developed an eating disorder at a very young age. I was about 9, 10. So the power of the mind is incredible. Here I was always that overachieving, high achieving, wanted to do well, taking care of others. From the outside, I looked like everything was good. I was a dancer. I was getting straight A's, but on the inside, I was kind of falling apart. And the only thing that I felt at that time I could control were my eating habits. So, but between that mental illness, eating disorders, I realized very, very quickly, again, how powerful our thoughts are and how they really translate to every single thing. Thoughts becomes actions, actions become behaviors, behaviors become routine and habit. So I was very fortunate. I was able to heal from an eating disorder. Took me quite a little bit of time, but within, a couple years, which is a very quick turnaround. And I decided, again, at that very young age, I was going to go to school and be in the health profession, become a mental health clinician. Fast forward about 10 years, and that's what I did. I got my master's in mental health counseling, specifically cognitive behavioral therapy. And that same year, I actually got into bodybuilding. I became a personal trainer and got certified to do nutrition. So that's kind of where the story all began. And that was back in 2011.
And those were like seeds, if you will, starting points for you to do something that propelled you to what you're doing today. And I want the audience to know you are a licensed counselor, a certified personal trainer, and you hold a advanced degree in nutrition. So you did the work, you're doing it professionally. How important is for someone yourself who builds their brand, built the business, to make those initial investments so that way you have some weight to what you're doing for your clients?
It's truly everything because, even when I was heavily focused within the fitness space, as a bodybuilder of a couple of years, there's a lot of fitness people out there, and fitness, it can be so mental, right? Getting yourself to the gym and focusing on that. But really what I found throughout my space within the competing world was, I'd be backstage with these women and men, but as a woman, I would really look to other women in my room, and these women were, beautiful. And you can tell that they put the physical work in. And what really, really just ached my heart, and still to this day really does, is their self-esteem was just so low. They would look at themselves in the mirror and say, I could have done more. I could be more, and again, it like really broke my heart. And there was a time when I very first started my brand, I was doing group fitness and I rented space in gyms, and I was really focused on that outer, that physical appearance. But even though I was doing that by night and on the weekends, I was a counselor by day. And what I found was the people that really got transformation, the ones that really stuck with me for a long time and were like, Lauren, I'm not leaving, I'm sticking it out, and got the mental and physical changes, were the ones who were able to go inward and look deep. So when I really moved my business online, I really was like, it is imperative that I speak up and really seek and speak to the mental health aspect of this all. Because like I said, it all stems from our mind and from our thoughts. And when you blend mental and physical, that's when we really have those outcomes. So to answer your question, yeah, having all of those certifications, degrees, it's very important.
You're talking to Lauren Nicole here on Refocus Radio. Go to our website, laurennicole.life. And people, it's a trend. Everybody has a podcast. Everybody's doing this. Everybody's doing that. Everybody's, thinking about being an entrepreneur or having a side hustle. Like everyone's in this space where they're interested in doing things that is bigger and bolder than their current, situation. You're doing it, that's the difference. It's about action. So for the audience, what are some of the things you learned along the way? Because we know starting a business is not easy, because if it was, everybody be doing it. What was your journey like as you were trying to brand and win over clients and add value to their life?
Yeah, definitely. The two things that really show up and have shown up for me are, one, consistency, and two, being yourself. And I think, again, in the beginning, it took me a little bit to kind of find that beautiful blend and harmony of how often am I talking about cognitive behavioral therapy and your thoughts and mindset, and how often am I talking about nutrition or fitness, but the more I kind of just found my flow, and I made something great for breakfast, I had a great workout, I went through an incredible morning routine of journaling or meditation. Those being me was what propelled my brand, because at the end of the day, people, work with people because of they like you. It's the relationship. I always kind of said that a lot of people, it's just like a hairstylist, right? Like a lot of different people, you can go and get your hair a certain way and people can get the job done, but you want to sit in a person's chair who you like. You want to spend time with them. So being myself is definitely number one. And like I said, number two was just consistency, really showing up. And it goes back to being authentic, being yourself. I always want to bring value. I love bringing value and knowledge, but there are some days when maybe I didn't want to open, a social media platform. Maybe I wasn't in this inspired mood to write a blog. And I've found that people, again, want to see the human. They want to understand that, like, I have emotions. I have bad days. I just said it to a client. I was like, I know I have a smile all the time, but like, you're not with me every second, right? And like, it's just being able to hold lots of big emotions, but still be able to show up.
Showing up is the most simplest thing, but for a lot of us, it can be the hardest thing until we actually do it. It's like New Year's, new me, new year, new me type thinking, but it doesn't stick for the whole year if we don't show up. And it's funny because I talked about a metaphor with someone else on my show, like an athlete. You pick the best athlete, right? They show up, it's not the boring athletes that you hear about is that people care about, that have the super fans, is the ones that everyone, they can never have their work ethic, and that's why people admire those type of athletes, because they're top of the top and they sacrifice so much to get there. Well, for you, your sacrifice so much to get to where you are. What are some of the things that you share with your client to remind you that it takes a commitment to a certain level if you want to reach a new level in your life, in your business?
Yeah, I think, something that I remind myself and clients is just find the moments, find the little things. I always say all the little things equate to the bigger ones. I'm very big on celebrating, your own personal wins, your small achievements. Again, even as an overachiever, my whole life, really having high expectations, something that I learned is you need to break that down. If you have a weight loss goal, if you want to save money and buy a home, if you want to open up and start your own business, that is great. That is phenomenal. But you're going to need to celebrate all the little things that lead up to that. I find that, a lot of the people that I work with have a hard time, even if it's setting a step goal or water goal, or, a lot of the women, again, it's in this self-esteem realm. And it's, thinking to myself, hey, you looked in the mirror and you didn't badmouth and have this harsh critic come out in every single way. Like, that is a win, and celebrate that. And the more that we can do that, we build that data within our mind to really let ourselves know, I can do this. I can do this. And like the motivation, the dedication, the consistency, it's going to continue.
And when someone is continuing in that journey, there's always, I said earlier in the podcast, sometimes storms come, life hits you, clouds just come out of nowhere. 1 second it was sunny day and birds are chirping. The next thing is like, what? Where am I? What happened? How you keep yourself, reminding yourself that this too shall pass. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, I can get through this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's so incredibly important. Again, it's something that I say to clients very frequently, the fact that, I am not in your life. Coaching is not there. You are getting to a better place, your highest version. Not so. Things never happen. Not so, the world doesn't give you lemons when you want that lemonade, right? It's really just being able to remind yourself, I can get through this. I can get past this. Something that I will put out to people quite often is, when something is happening to you, own those negative emotions that may be coming up or associated. But at the same time, ask yourself, there's always a way to make it a bigger problem or a smaller problem. Which one do you want to do? That's number one. And number two, what can you learn from it? What can you take away? Every single time something in my life kind of goes not the opposite way that I want to, I ask myself, okay, what can I take from this? What can I learn? How can I grow?
Once again, talking to Lauren Nicole, you can go to her website, laurennicole.life. Your mission is simple. You are not just in fitness, but you also work through people's mindsets as well. So when you are supporting your clients, you're helping a lot of women to become their greatest versions of themselves. What are some of the reactions of the women you work with when they have seen the light bulb, come on in their life, and now they start to see the results of their hard work, and they're seeing the progress of what they were to where they are today?
Yeah, it's just such a beautiful moment, because like I was saying before, kind of one of those milestones is helping women to see those small steps up the ladder. So like a great example, I had a client, say to me the other day, she was a woman who would never take pictures, would always hide from a camera, and even if she was, she'd be scrunched behind, a couple people in the back. And she noticed in that moment, she had a work event and people were, said, let's, do some PR and take some photos. And she stood proud in the front. She still realized that it was uncomfortable. It wasn't that she was working with me for maybe a month. And she was like, it's not that it totally went away, Lauren, but I harnessed and I owned the fact that I still felt uncomfortable, but I decided to do something different. And that's the thing, right? We're all going to have fear. We're all going to have uncertainty. But when you notice it, you can stand in that empowered place and you can decide and do something different. Like I have goosebumps as I'm talking. Those are those really small, equating to bigger wins. And she messaged me that night and said, I know that I am changing. I feel it within my body. And once that happens, again, it triggers something in your mind that says, if I can do this, if I can truly change from the inside, the outside's going to come. The weight would come off. If I have a strength thing that I want to do, like that is going to come because I am changing who I am on the inside.
I mean, that's the key right there. That thing inside, once that triggers, whether it's good or bad, it's like a ripple effect. It affects everything around you. So if it's good, it's going to echo all around you. But if it's bad, same thing. It's just going to echo its way all around you. And it's going to affect people in your life. It's going to affect, how you do, your business or you do your job, whatever the case may be. It's that mindset. And I like that idea of it starting from within, because it's funny how people on the show, we have a similar thread of how we, have these golden nuggets of wisdom, but it's like a seed.
Yeah.
Greatness is inside that. But how many of us are just walking through life carrying seeds that we don't plant? So it's like, if you don't take that time to plant it and say, you know what, man, Lauren's right. Let me go ahead and do this. Let me go to the website, LaurenNicole.life, and let's go. I think a lot of the biggest problem people's life is that they give up too easily and too soon.
Yeah. Yep. That is definitely the case. And that is why I always say, we are going to start small. We are going to start proving to yourself and to your mind that you can get to the big stuff. But again, let's start where we are.
And when you look at everything you built and you look back, share the audience, what goes through your mind now today when Lauren sees where she's at now with her business, helping others, versus the seed when it first started? How have you seen yourself grown to where you now are able to share your story and your platform to impact other people's lives?
Yeah, it's truly, truly phenomenal. And it all starts with believing in yourself, and again, I had my own and still am working through, limiting beliefs. But I remember years ago, as a practicing counselor, like I kind of alluded to, doing one passion by day and the other passion by night, and knowing in my heart that I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know what it would be. I didn't know where or how, but I knew with every single inch of my body, my soul, my mind, that I was going to blend both. It really was going to be personal development, mindset, and physical transformation. And I just kept putting one foot in front of the other. When I finally, moved out of that quote stable job and, decided to move a lot of my practice online to be able to reach more, it was scary. There was so much fear. I had a newborn at the time when I decided to make this really big leap. And now I kind of look at everything that I built, silly things like something that held me back was technology. Like I was like, I don't know how to do a landing page or, all these things, but it really was just the belief in self, like, Lauren, you're going to figure it out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, how tough it is. It doesn't matter if you don't know the 5 steps ahead of you. Just put one foot in front of the other. And that's something that I tell all my clients, just like that phrase, trust the process. It's scary. It is so scary when women come in and they're like, oh, I've had this trauma or this belief and it always screws me up, or I've tried all these diets and nothing works. And I kind of embrace that, and I embrace them with this huge hug. And I'm like, just let's start small, and we're going to work up, and just believe. And if I can get every single client that I work with, this is one of my major goals, to just begin to believe in themselves as much as I believe in them, hearing and knowing their incredible story. Not even sky's the limit. It is way beyond that.
And that's a good way to look at it, because it makes you think like, someone in your life, like your mentor or a parent or someone, in the beginning, they don't expect you to be a rock star. They kind of just expect you to do the small things that lead up to new opportunities. And in order for us to position ourselves to be in those opportunities, I almost think it like, we present ourselves to people like gifts, and people, they react to what they see. So depending how you are showing yourself, that's how people will see you, and they learn from you. Well, if you're not confident, eventually people are just going to like see that, and they're not going to believe in you. But if you are confident, then they will learn to respect you. So my last question for you is, when it comes to self-care and accountability, what are some of the things that you try to keep in mind so that way you're not in that funk, that dark space too long?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great question. So number one is me time. I'm a huge extrovert. I love being around people. But me time, when I say it's alone time, and it kind of can look different, but I really promise myself, that's my word to me, that I'm going to have that in some capacity every single day. And, that can vary from 5 minutes. Maybe I'm taking some deep breaths, in my car, to an hour, to, an entire day, if I have the time, being a mom and a business owner. But just really setting aside that time and reminding myself that is okay. The phone can go on do not disturb, as the helper that I am, it trickles in, so-and-so may need you. And I constantly remind myself, whatever it is, whether it's some journaling, audio journaling, a meditation, just some deep breaths, and moving my body, which can look very different depending on the season that I am in. It could be a walk. It could be going into the gym. It could be dancing, just allowing myself to have that type of outlet every single day.
Someone listening right now, listen to Lauren Nicole. You go to her website, real simple, laurennicole.life. What's the call to action you want our listeners to take?
When going to the website, it will come up that there is a group program. It's a really special, near and dear program. Both has a community and supportive piece with others, as well as working one-on-one with me for that full transformation, mental and physical. So just filling some information into that sheet just means I'm going to reach out to you and see what your story is and what the person is looking for, and create a roadmap and see if we're a good fit to really get someone there. So head on over to the website and fill that form out.
Once again, I want to say thank you to Lauren Nicole, taking time in your schedule talking to us. You can go visit her website, laurennicole.life. Again, that's laurennicole.life. Wants to say thank you again for taking time talking to Refocus Radio.
Thank you.